George Essien is right here, a sport journalist. George, good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Yeah, we should have
said. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Although you've not actually after me in a while.
Nah. I mean, you didn't get the message.
Yeah, but you can be excused. Though.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get the message. That's why. I actually did. Actually.
Which one?
Okay, but let's let's talk about the big one confirmed yesterday night, Nigeria versus England. And it's very interesting to see mixed reactions to this one. A lot of people, some people excited, playing England again after 23 years. And some people are like, why are we playing England? They don't play nothing like Iceland or Poland or Argentina. So I don't know where do you stand in this kind of situation? It's a massive, massive game. You're playing against a team that has arguably the best striker in the world, an Harry Kane, that will test any defense. Where do you stand in this?
But they're going to the World Cup.
And they're going to the World Cup as well.
Yeah, they're going to the World Cup, so it makes it even apt. Remember, we played Argentina before knowing that we will play Argentina in the group stage. So with that, you can excuse the NFF. You know, we never knew we were going to get Argentina in the first place. So they're a World Cup bound team. It's a grade A friendly. Correct. And what excites me the most is that the English FA confirmed it yesterday. You know, before we'd hear, you know, news from the NFF from one side, and then at the last minute we'd hear something happen. So the fact that the England FA confirmed this, it's quite exciting. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget, Poland is already confirmed as well.
Yeah. Right.
But there's still 2 more free dates in May that I think the NFF should maybe surprise us. Maybe give us a Germany.
Okay. You know what? I only want to play Germany. Going to the World Cup.
Why not? Why not? But
let's to play England at least. We're okay with England. We're okay with Poland. Okay, we'll play them, but let's not seek to play them. Maybe we can play. I'll prefer we play another country.
For me, anyone goes.
Those are potential champions. You know.
Yeah, that's what
we should be playing potential champions because who knows? This might just be a year.
From you, from George, from you suggesting Germany next. Now, it looks like you're not one of those guys that's really particular about playing a country that has got similar playing patterns with Iceland. I mean, like the Nordic countries. I mean, you're not thinking along those lines.
Well, maybe if you're saying, okay, maybe a team similar to Croatia, maybe Bosnia. I remember we played Bosnia in 2014. I'm not that particular about that. I'm looking at, you know, who knows what's going to happen after the group stage? Right. Although we first have to
scale that
through the group stage. But you know, you'd have like similar strikers. We know the quality that we have in Croatia. We know the quality that we have in England. If we can get Europe, it is fine, because you know we have 2 European teams, and of course we have a South American team. So if we can play another South American team, it's fine. You know, so. I think the NFF are coming up with this grade A friendly. Awesome. We should really applaud them for that.
Yeah, for that.
Doing the job, yeah.
Like, okay, the final question for Leave the Eagles friendly. What will you expect to see in this game? What are the players you think Kenneth Rowe can actually use, knowing that these are the players that will also go to the World Cup?
Yeah, it's England. I expect him to use the English-based players, England-based players. Although they're not,
not a lot of them are playing.
Not a lot of them are playing. Mikel and the rest have gone.
They got,
You know, so we expect him to field, you know, his best side. It's going to be like about 10 days before the World Cup, I think, because that's on June 2nd. Yeah. The World Cup starts on 14th, so before they travel out and all that. So I expect him to field his best side. I expect, of course, you know. I don't know who our first choice goalkeeper will be. I think that's like the biggest headache right now. Okay. Except you have any idea?
I don't know. I should ask you. Well,
we should get a pointer. I mean, we should get an idea of whoever like really plays in that game. Perhaps that might be the #1 going into our first game against Croatia.
Yeah, well, of course. I think we have the Poland game first. I think so. That should expose some of these things. I feel for Kenneth Rowe now. I think I can mention like 16 players that are going to the World Cup. Right. But I don't know who the first choice goalkeeper is going to be. But I know that Ikechukwu Ezenwa is going to be there. We're waiting to see what he's going to do at Chan, though. We really need to consider, I mean really consider, if Vincent Enyeama should come back to this team. We need a very solid goalkeeper.
If you listen...
why are you laughing? I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Sila's laughing. That's a very serious
I'm
position.
saying it's coming back again, like something that keeps coming back to us.
It's the biggest headache we have right now.
So
I mean, we have goal scorers. They should be psyched up to score. I think the problem with our goal poachers is that, you know, psychologically they get to the front of the net. These are players that bang in goals. Like Odion Ighalo is a good goal scorer.
So, of course.
Yes,
You know, if he is mentally stable, he should be able to give us goals in that tournament.
But you can't just rely on him alone,
Exactly.
because
So
we
what
have
are the
Kelechi
options
Iheanacho, who is not playing, supposed to be another top striker.
Alex Iwobi.
Alex Iwobi also, I mean, he's
There's
off
talk
and
of
on.
Mario Onyekuru as well.
Onyekuru is injured right now,
Injured
so you don't
also.
expect him to come back and quickly be fit enough
not
to
even be fit for the
start
World
banging
Cup.
in goals and all.
I
So
mean, but
you're like,
if you
it's a
look
bit
around,
limited right now.
If you look around Europe, Gennaro knows how to shop. I'm sure he'll be shopping from one of the Tokumbo guys. But I know that, you know, Nigerians, we know how to score goals. I'm just particular about some other aspects.
The goalkeeping aspect of it. Yeah. Okay, now quickly talk about the Chan Eagles. I mean, they played Cameroon. It was a goalless one. Is that a good test? And how much would that help them to bounce and get something good out?
You know, when I talk about the Super Eagles team A, I'm also worried about the team B.
Okay.
We have goal-scoring problems. Yeah. Even in our run to the Waffle Cup, we hardly scored goals.
Right.
The Chan qualifiers, we didn't score enough goals as well. I mean, we have the highest goal scorer in the league there, Anthony Poto. I hope there will be, the pressure on him will not be so much. They need to score goals. They have brilliant players there. Ifeanyi or Sas Okoro is there. You know, you have Gabriel Ikechukwu as well. You know, Rabi Ali. There are players there who really can make up a very formidable squad. But I am worried that they did not get goals. You know, if I'm going to headline that result yesterday, I'll say Cameroon held Nigeria, not Nigeria holding Cameroon. Because we're going into this tournament as favorites, even though we got knocked out in the first round in the last tournament. You know, we need to score goals. Those players, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the coaches announced he scored already. So there's no injection anymore.
Yeah.
So he just needs to psych those players up and make sure they get the goals.
Okay, that's it. It's all about scoring goals on, and it's going to be against Rwanda on Monday. That's Nigeria's first game. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at what went down between Chelsea and Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We're on the home stretch now, and it's time to talk about what went down between Arsenal and Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg yesterday at Stamford Bridge. In case you missed it, ended goalless. Wasn't as exciting as what we saw between those two sides in the Premier League a few days before, but it's a two-legged affair, and that's a confirmation of result there. George, I was saying it wasn't as exciting as that one, the 2-2 draw, right? But this is a two-legged affair. It's a knockout competition, and you can understand when teams come in a bit cagey and not wanting to go all out.
That's right. Sigh of relief for Arsene Wenger. I mean, changing up the squad from the one against Nottingham Forest, you would have expected to get, you know, a better result, but this is a decent result as well. Even though you'd say if Chelsea, you know, if it ends up in a score draw, it's all over. But it just goes to show, like I was saying earlier, that Arsene Wenger is not a stubborn man. He had to rejig that squad, and he knew he was playing Chelsea as well. If you look at the whole squad that was fielded, you'd say maybe only Ospina, who Peter Cech was rested, Ospina was the one in goal. So it was decent for Arsenal not to concede, even though Antonio Conte had lots of words, but he was satisfied after showing, you know, looking at the VAR and seeing replays. There were like 2 penalty calls in that game. But, you know, they failed to take their chances as well, Chelsea. And this is following what happened again in the penultimate game, which they played. So Chelsea's failure to take chances cost them that game. But on the other hand, it was exciting to see Arsene Wenger playing a defensive game.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, trying to stay in the competition, right?
Yeah.
It was in Conte now, and it's very interesting to see that Arsenal have, like, they seem to have found, you know, a good way to play against Antonio Conte's Chelsea. When Jose was in charge, it was usually, we know the result a lot of times. We know you
see a win.
Yeah, a win for Chelsea. Now it's a struggle. What's going on?
Are you trying to insinuate that Antonio Conte is not as good as...
No, that's not my point.
No,
I'm just asking you, I mean, what's going on? Yeah.
I mean, okay, his experience. playing against this team over and over again, you should be able to know how to hold them. And don't forget as well, I told you what, everyone still wants to crucify Morata these days. You know, chances that you have and you don't take them. There's something wrong with the Chelsea side right now that needs to be worked on. I'm not saying anytime they meet Arsenal, they need to win. But kudos to Arsene Wenger. He's learning a lot. And irrespective of who the manager is, the Chelsea side is always a big threat. I mean, when the Arsenal fans hear Chelsea, they already, you know...
Ready for a loss.
You said so.
No, Joe.
Okay,
before we go quickly, from Coquelin on his way to Valencia, would you say it would be a big miss for Arsenal?
It should be a big miss. Wondering what Arsene Wenger would do. But great move for the young man. A deal worth around 12 million, could rise to 16. Good for Coquelin. I don't know what Arsene Wenger is going to come up with right now.
The January window is opened.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows his plans?
But you know how it is.
I don't know.
He expects to be beaten like 7-1 before he goes
Okay, he's going to get a good player. Right, from there, we'll just quickly look at the papers, what the papers are saying, starting with Complete Sports. Interesting one coming from Gareth Southgate here. So while we want to play Nigeria, he also speak on Costa Rica friendly. And also Sporting Sun here, Eagles, England set for Wembley showdown. We talked about that already. And Joshua Parker to baffle March 31st. Everyone has been talking about this deal. We just can't wait for the fight to happen. We're tired of the speculation. And the final one, review this morning, Sporting Life. Of course, still the England game confirmed for Wembley. And of course, Southgate welcomes perfect Eagles friendly. They love it.
Let the build-up begin.
I hope it's not just our headlines that are saying perfect.
Well,
no, he loves it.
However,
I mean, it's in quote, right?
However it was brokered, you know, it's good. We hear
ever.
Amaju Pinnick had a meeting first, and then there was another meeting, Greg Dyke, and of course, Sheo Diko. So it's great.
They've got it done. They've got it done. That's what really matters. And we're looking forward to that game. George, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Where's my coffee?
He's ready.
We'll do it after the show.
All right, thank you for watching. I'm Cecilia Amor.
Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Tayo Salam.